Your fantasy football league mates do not want you to know about this channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on the way in. Welcome in. Name's Liam Murphy. We draft fantasy football teams here, primarily best ball teams. Going to try to win best ball tournament number 4, reach the best ball mania finals again. Let's make it happen. We got one of the best spots in the draft in Underdog Fantasy's Best Ball Mania. We're in the 11 hole. Back half, simply the best spot to draft this year, largely because you can get 2 elite wide receivers. And as a different audience enters the fantasy football market, the more casual crowd, they've been taking guys like Derrick Henry, Achane, Gene T, CMC. They like the running back. So it's quite likely that I'm going to get 2 of Thomas, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Nico, Puka. I have combos of all of these guys now. I have Puka Nico. I have Nico Amon-Ra. I have Neighbors Nico. I don't know if I have Puka Neighbors. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Good luck. Uh-oh. In the 12th. Good luck. Good luck. Yes. Underdog, I think, had some issues last night. Luckily for you. luckily for me, I was not drafting last night. Went out, had a date night with my lady, and saw that Underdog was not operating properly. So what did I do? I shared that information in my Discord. Link to join that is below. So I let the people know. I let the community know. I didn't call you a casual. If you're here, you're almost certainly not casual. How many Jamar Bowers do I have? Probably 0. Girth squared. Pause. Drake London. I don't even think it's crazy. We're going to go Brian Thomas Jr. today. Now we're going to play the ADP. We're going to go Neighbors because we might get Brian Thomas Jr. here. We'll see what he does. I want Neighbors and Brian. But Neighbors and anyone on this list is honestly awesome. He goes Amon-Ra. He goes Brian Thomas. Okay, fine. We have to settle for a Week 17 stack of Raiders Giants, GT Neighbors. We played mind game on the 12th hole. We tricked him. Just kidding. No, I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., love his Week 17 matchup against the Colts' bad defense. Colts were brutal last year, so were the Jags on defense. Raiders get the brutal Giants run defense Week 17. Neighbors get the unimpressive Raiders secondary Week 17. Zach, we're wide-ranging on this channel. We draft early. We draft late. Primarily for the rest of August, I'll be drafting later at night. Oh, everyone, pour one out for Merritt. Oh, no, he got the first spot 4 drafts in a row. How annoying for him. So sorry, Merritt. You just had to draft the best player in fantasy football 4 times. Man, when will your luck turn around? What's my outlook on Trevor Lawrence this year? I'm not going to be surprised at all if Trevor Lawrence turns in a QB 5-6 type of season. A season similar to Baker Mayfield. He gets a huge upgrade in offensive coordinator with Liam Cohen. He gets Travis Hunter. He gets receiving weapons like Byshel Tootin. Diami Brown's there. Bretton Strange, year 2. Year 3? So yeah, pretty much all these quarterbacks, it's not going to be shocking if any of them turn in an awesome season, but Mayfield didn't really run before last year either. 400 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Lawrence is 100% live to have his best season of his career. And he's always run the football a little bit. Thank you, sir. How do I feel about Rome this year? I've not gotten as much MMA outlawed, and I'm not going to lie, the Bears, it's just kind of like the expensive Bears, they're kind of tough clicks. Let's move. Where do we want this? Let's put the chat here in the draft board here. My monitor's quite large, so always hard to know the ideal setup, but the Rome, DJ Moore, I mixed these guys in. I don't know if you guys saw the drill of Caleb Williams trying to throw it in the nets. It was brutal. But yeah, I've been drafting more of the cheaper Bears, so Loveland, Burden. But I certainly want to mix Rome in, right? Because Rome, year 2, number 8 overall in the draft last year. It's hard to evaluate last year's Bears with just how brutal the coaching and everything was. We've not drafted any JSN, and we're going to take him here. Certainly don't want like a full fade on him. Gets a plus matchup against Carolina week 17. I do think, it's certainly possible Darnold gets benched, but it's also probably a little overblown. He's young, so there's no like systematic risk there. Lamar's tempting, but I have already some neighbors GT Lamar. These are 2 of my highest drafted players. Let's do Tet for the week 17. So we're piling on the week 17 bringbacks. We got Raiders, Giants. We got Seattle, Carolina. From the man who helped popularize week 17 correlation when I won BBM2. Here's how you do it, folks. JSN's not always available here either, Ryan's very hard to tilt me, man. Simply when you do a lot of drafts, like you're just wasting energy if you invest time in tilting, right? It does not. Like, subscribe, beatbestball.com. I'll have updated rankings at beatbestball.com tomorrow. Should have manage ranks hit the site this week as well. Thoughts on Caleb? Caleb seems fine for fantasy, and I think the casuals will, like, I saw Caleb go 130 yesterday, 131. And that's because, or 2 days ago, the casual market, I think, is just going to be a little bit more like, they're a little bit more confident in just like, this guy's good, this guy sucks, You know what I mean? And a lot of them are just going to decide that he sucks. But for our purposes, I mean, Caleb doesn't even have to be that good to be a good fantasy player. He had nearly 500 rushing yards last year. No touchdowns. If he does something similar, scores like 3 touchdowns, ups this to like 4,000 yards, 25 plus touchdowns, like that's a good pick. So I don't have a ton of him, but again, I'm only like a little over halfway. This is my 89th Best Ball Mania. And I'm quite happy, how I did it. Drafted a lot early, drafted some throughout June and July, drafted a lot now plus, I mean, honestly, yeah, like London is a player I'm very high on. I personally am never going to take him over Puka, Nico, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas, just because you need to hit the parlay that Michael Penix is actually good too. But I don't think it's insane. Feels nice to get Zay Flowers here. Pick 59, another player who a more casual market is going to be a little bit more confident on is simply a bad player. Ryan, did you mention tilting? I didn't even notice, but you didn't get Zay with Lamar. And then something that I think is just simply fun here is to pair the rookie running backs. You know, this is supposed to be the generational rookie running back class. A way a lot of people are playing it is they're just drafting these cheap guys, Taj Brooks, Brashard Smith, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Woody Marks, list goes on. But maybe we should simply draft the guys who actually went high in the draft, like Gene T, Hampton, Henderson. If I had gone Lamar, I could have gotten Zay with Lamar. Although you never know. Maybe Spider Monkey would have been like, no, I'm not allowing that. You know? The chat's trying to stress Ryan out. Nice balanced start for us. Henderson's definitely drawing live to be somewhat of a disappointment for, you know, the opening couple weeks. But ultimately, I do think talent will win out, and he's going to be a player we want late in the season. Jets were bad at defending the run last year, too. Week 17 opponent. I tend to agree, Matt, right? Like, we should be doing things that help us. It does happen more often to people who have, you know, an audience, because the way people think about it sometimes is like, well, he's good at best ball, so I should really block him from getting it, right? Which is like, sir, there's like a million entrants in this contest. You're not blocking everyone. Ultimately, we should be doing things that help us first and foremost. However, there are times in a draft where there is a pick, like there's, you know, let's say you could go 2 or 3 quarterbacks and it's really indifferent to you, like both are fine. And you notice that another team doesn't have a second quarterback. We'll go in a third and you like their team. Well, you could go a third quarterback there and kind of screw that team over and help your team, you know? Thank you, sir. Liked my new article. Going to be trying to pump out at least an article a week here. I think Micah Parsons will remain a Cowboy, but I mean, I don't know, man. The Jerry Jones stuff is weird. I'm going to be updating my ranks tomorrow, and like, thankfully, I have a big bag of Tanks Bigsby, and subscribers of beatbestball.com certainly do as well. But yeah, I mean, it's getting to the point where we're going to go Pollard this time. Simply have more Jones than Pollard. It's getting to the point where should Tank just be the first running back drafted for the Jags, right? I'm at least probably going to raise him to the Ramondre Steven, J.K. Dobbins range, you know? Backstack Mahomes is interesting. I think what we're going to do, though, is we're going to take Jaylen Warren here. So we got 4 wideouts. We got 2 rookie running backs. And then we have 2 vet running backs. Feels good. I have 38% Bigsby drafting almost purely off your ranks and my chopped cheese. I mean, people would buy that, Bryson, right? Like, is it guaranteed that we're going to win? Of course not. But Ultimately, at the end of the day, when you draft early, you're trying to identify players who will go up in cost, and we have secured that a lot, right? We've gotten J.K. Dobbins, we've gotten Tank Bigsby, we've gotten a lot of players who've gone up a lot in price. I will be scooping the Darnell Mooney dip, yes. Not every draft, you know. I mean, Rich, I'm assuming you're a Pats fan, but like, let's be real. Anytime a player hits the market, the Patriots especially, but many fan bases are like, oh, this guy will fit our team. You know what I mean? I mean, you should certainly not do this. Do what you want, of course, but I'm playing to win. I'm not playing to stop someone else from winning. Is Trey Benson going to be an RB1? I mean, Andrew, it will almost certainly take an injury to James Conner. The reason why Andrew's probably asking that is because yesterday James Conner said we're both RB1s. And yeah, I mean, hate the price, not the player. I kind of thought Benson's a little overpriced because he's like somewhat similar to a lot of RB2s, but I've been getting some of him as he dips. And it probably, again, will take a James Conner injury. What you have going for you is Arizona is a team that runs the rock a lot. They have exotic run schemes, so taking both Cardinals running backs is sensible. Mental health is low, Chuck. I can't pass on Shaheed. Can't do it. We got a rookie. We got a guy who I don't think is the best fit for the scoring format in JSN. Rashid Shaheed certainly fits the scoring format. Sure. I think Trey Harris has fallen because Keandre Lambert-Smith is awesome. But whatever. He's a second-round pick, you know? Thoughts on Tyler Warren breakout potential? If it hits, it will be viewed similar to, you know, Brock Bowers last year. Now, I do think, even though the quarterback play was not great for the Raiders, they were statue quarterbacks. They were guys who were going to put up pass volume. If Richardson is the starting quarterback, I still think the Warren breakout is unlikely. I don't understand why he is more expensive than some of his peers. It's not my favorite bet in the world. I'm a little uneasy fading the high draft capital, but yeah, I mean, really any of the tight ends from Hawkinson to Ferg, even Jonnu and Pitts, like it's not going to be surprising if any of these guys have a great year. And that's why it's kind of tougher to draft the Bowers and McBrides of the world sometimes. Questions are rarely dodged here. There's simply 200 people in the chat. Keenan Allen visit affecting Harris. That could be a 2, but I do think it's a little bit more Keandre Lambert-Smith stuff. Am I worried about reports of Shuck struggling in camp? Not really. Because I mean, how bad can a quarterback be for Rashid Shaheed? The worry for Shuck is that Shuck actually might be fine in fantasy if he's a starter, and he's not guaranteed to be the starter. But the worry is that what I'm seeing from Shuck is that he's risk adverse. He's like checking it down a lot. He's refusing to like put the ball in traffic, and he seems to want to scramble, right? And like that's bad. If a guy's not going to throw it to his playmakers because he's worried of throwing like a pick, think Justin Fields, that's bad. A lot of injuries are going around. Hawkinson groin. So this is a big reason why I took Trey Harris as well, because I was hoping to get Justin Herbert on the wrap. And I mean, Justin Herbert is like 6th or 7th best quarterback in the NFL. So get a swing at an elite tight end as well. Team's rounding out. We got Herbert, G.T. Henderson, Pollard, Warren, Neighbors, JSN, Tet, Flowers, Shaheed, Harris, Kincaid. Certainly can go 3 quarterback on this team. Probably will with such a cheap price on Herbert. I don't think people remember that Herbert had a hurt foot last year, and he's probably going to run the ball more. Yeah, won't be surprising to me if Herbert outscores really any of the guys Mahomes down. We only do that for super chats, Ryan. We don't got time for that around here. Otherwise, everyone would ask, Mike Gesicki got hurt. I think all the people trying to anti-sweat me put that into the air. Noah Fant. I mean, Noah Fant can just pay off on a single catch, guys. Yeah, that doesn't look good for Shuck. But Shuck, I think if that's the case, he would be fine for fantasy because he's going to run the ball. I don't think Brock Bowers in the second is a waste. It's just all these guys are just so cheap and such good bets. Like, we need to remember that we were drafting guys like Dalton Schultz, Tyler Higbee. We were drafting so many like scrub tight ends here in the past. Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant. Like, these were the guys we were drafting in these rounds. All of these bets are so much better than that. I think a lot of tight ends are going to miss time for training camp. And like, it's hard to tell when a team is being cautious for training camp versus when an injury is serious. An injury that seems somewhat serious is Cam Scatterbo. Like, he hurt his hamstring. He came back to practice, and then he got hurt again. That's bad, right? When you get rushed to the field and then you get hurt again. An injury that's probably being cautious is guys like Tucker Kraft. But I don't know. A lot of these injuries are fresh. Like, they literally happened like yesterday or something like that. Khalil Shakir, I think he'll be fine, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's just logic, though. He's going to run the ball more, right? He had a hurt foot last year. I rarely show my ranks before I'm on the clock. Okay. No reason not to take Bryce Young here for the Week 17 game stack we've built. Guy's top pass catcher. And, we got Darnold. I could go Geno right now, too. I got Jackson Dart. So let's see if anything's tickling my fancy right now. Not really. I might just take a Geno. Let's do Geno. Why not? Oh. Honestly, don't hate the auto. I got Likely. It's my damn presets. I'm fixing it. This is like the 8th time it's happened to me on stream. The most annoying thing that Underdog does. So this number now adds up more than 20. I mean, more than 18. So if you do auto a team, it will, you don't know what exact positions you're going to get, but the way Underdog does it is if you put a player in your queue, you would think you would get that player. Wrong if it overrides your positional limits. It does work that way, though, on DraftKings, I think. It's certainly not good to be pulling groins and hammies. You buying the dip on Joe Mixon? In some drafts, yes. Right? But, like, do I want all of my August drafts to rely on Joe Mixon? Certainly not, right? 100%. I'm drafting in Richardson, and I don't really draft much Daniel Jones. I don't have like a huge bag on Richardson, but yeah, I think yesterday I had a Josh Downs team, and I just took Richardson at pick 158 because I wasn't sure if he'd be there at 180. It's like, who cares? Like, obviously, Richardson will outscore a ton of these quarterbacks if he's playing. Mad King, there's rarely like concrete good or bads. What do you think about a team that has Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and JJ McCarthy? Is that many guys from one team a bad idea? Seems fine to do on occasion. And all those guys are like relatively cheap, you know? You're making a concentrated bet. Vikings passing game is good. If right, you've set yourself up for success. And you can pay off a lot, you know, like Addison can have a good week 16. Now you get in a low owned Justin Jefferson to week 17. If you're new to the channel, hit the sub button, folks. We're on the road to 8K. We're on the eventual road to 10K, but we got to get the 8K first. So Mike Gesicki pulled a hamstring yesterday at scrimmage. Who knows how serious it is? I think we're just going to take Sam Darnold here. Now let's take, this guy doesn't have Cooper Kupp, does he? No, he does not. Yeah, I think he's unlikely to take Sam Darnold naked. So we'll take Jonnu, who I just quite like, and I don't understand why he goes so late. And, you know, if Likely needs some time to get back on the field, that's fine because we have Kincaid and Jonnu. We had Sam Darnold, so we have the Carolina-Seattle game stacked up on both sides. That game's drawing very live to be a quote-unquote like toilet bowl type environment. You know, badish teams that score well. What do you think about Caleb Williams and CJ Stroud last year and adding a third QB based on capital? I don't know what you're asking. Like, if I was drafting last year? If you're drafting this year? Need more info there. Their win total is kind of high. It's like 8.5 for Seattle. And it's really not hard to see Sam Darnold having a huge year. You know? Their O-line's not good, but yeah, I mean, scored 320 fantasy points, 35 touchdowns, 4,300 yards. Like, assuming he doesn't get benched at the end of the season, he's probably going to be around 3,800 plus yards, 24 plus touchdowns, you know? And there's definitely possibilities where like Cup is good, Torrey Horton is good, Elijah Arroyo, things like that, you know? So probably go one running back, one wideout on this team. Yeah, I think people are pattern matching that, right? Like, and look, I was the one who was saying, like, Sam Darnold's not that good, folks, when he was smashing in fantasy. Like, I was like, look, he's gonna get like drafting the Vikings is a bad bet in playoff best ball is what I said. Like, you folks are being foolish here. Like I just knew Sam Darnold pumpkin would come out, but I think it was a reasonable, like he's a reasonable click this year to just score fantasy points over the course of the year. This guy's one quarterback. I guess Hurts. Keenan Allen goes, so can't stack him with Herbert. So we're going to take Lambert Smith. Deontay Thornton, Lambert Smith, like I think we should be drafting these guys. Is it possible he's a 0? Absolutely, but really only need one of Trey Harris or Lambert Smith to be quote unquote a good pick. I think we'll just take DJ Giddens here. Just a handcuff. Could draft other guys if I was worried about scoring points early, but Gene T, Henderson, Pollard, Warren, they're giving me points early. So the team ends up, Woody Marks was gone for week 17 correlation with the Chargers. Herbert, Young, Darnold, feels good. Gene T, Henderson, Pollard, Warren, Giddens, feels good. Neighbors, JSN, Tat, Flower, Shaheed, Harris, Lambert, Smith, KLS, Kincaid, Likely, Jono. Feels like a good team. As I said, he is gone. I'm going to have one redraft rank, and it's going to be for PPR oriented because I don't really know any redrafts that are half point. Adding a third quarterback sometimes is fine, Meowth, if that's what you're trying to get at. Ryan, yeah, we'll take a look at your team. I think the team needs a running back. Torrey Horton would have been a fun add on for the Seattle side. Why is Pickens going 3 full rounds later than T. Higgins? I mean, simply because not every wide receiver 2 can go in the second round. But yeah, T is not too dissimilar than a lot of these wide receivers. So my team, we already recapped. All right. Brian went Lamar and Lawrence. Seems fun. Ended up with 7 running backs since he started 0 RB. Brian Thomas, Aaron Jones, Tootin, Algier, Allen, Smith, Lloyd. I think you got a good mixture here. Robinson and Jones are giving you points to start for sure. Tootin and Brashard Smith, 2 huge swings at upside. Algier and Allen, 2 backups who could play more. You never know. Could get touchdowns at least, give you some usable weeks. And then Lloyd is kind of in the Algier Allen camp. Feels good. Emmanuel Wilson got hurt too for the Packers. So running back room, is it like the best group in the world? No. But if Tootin or Smith or just these 2 guys are good, you seem fine there. Wide receiver room feels pretty good. Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas, that's awesome. Addison and Olave, like those 2 guys as well. Bateman to go with Lamar. And then you got Downey Brown adding on to the Trevor stack. He's got some camp buzz recently. Wicks, probably just a good pick. He's injured right now. And then you got 2 swings at elite tight end. Week 17 correlation, you added on Wicks for some correlation with Lamar. You don't have a Colt, but that's, oh, you do. You have Warren. You have Warren, Brown, Thomas, and Trevor. So team seems perfectly good, right? It will probably come down to like, how good are Addison and Olave? Do you get the running back points? That's probably it, right? But good team. Let's do a Eliminator. Coin flip it. Heads. Okay. Get him next time. Possible. 12 hole. Man, over the past like couple days, I feel like every single draft I've been doing is from like the 11 or 12 hole, which feels good. Ugh. I think you went Lloyd over Giddens, and you Giddens with the Trevor side could have been done for you as well, 12 in particular is fun because, especially when you're like on your phone or something, because you don't even got, you can watch something, whatever. You don't got to pay that close attention. Man, I'm tired. I don't usually drink. Had a couple drinks last night. I'm washed. So if you've never done the Eliminator, the first week, the six of the teams get eliminated. The other 6 get put into head-to-head pods. From there, you get matched up with a random head-to-head opponent. Wow, Derrick Henry at pick 6, of course. You get matched up against a random head-to-head opponent for the rest of the time until you're eliminated, if you're eliminated. And you make the money sometime, I think, around week 4. Running back fever is very high in these, as you're seeing Henry, CMC, Achane, right? Like, people want their running backs in this. Jefferson just went pick 9. That's insane. So yeah, definitely a different drafting environment. Feels like drafts from years past. I think we're gonna go Ginty here, just looking at how this room behaved. And we're gonna pair him with Nico. Different buys is nice. But yeah, I mean, this room, when you see guys goes Henry at 6, Achane at 8, feels like kind of a gift to get a running back who I like still at the 12th hole, I mean, this chair was like $100. My girlfriend hates it. Is it a good chair? Probably not, but it's kind of good for like my back support. Should I get a better chair? Yeah, probably eventually. Well, almost unilaterally, the best place to be drafting is the 6 hole and 7 hole most years, just because it allows you to scoop falling ADP when the room gives it to you, right? Where it's like, let's just pretend for whatever reason Justin Jefferson made it to pick 11. That's a bummer. I don't get, at 12, I don't have access to that. I mean, you just saw me draft KLS, so yes, sir. KLS just looks good. This feels bad to me in this format, but who knows? Chase, McBride, Kittle. Obviously, he's trying to smash it at tight end. Tight ends tend to fall somewhat in this. Oh, I'm sorry, folks, for slurping, but I drink my coffee before it's cooled down. I know some people hate that. Not my intention. No, but I am a light sleeper, right? Like noise, I'm up. Which, I think that's just like good. Like, when you think back to us in the caveman days, if something was rustling, you had to get up and like defend yourself, right? So good primal instincts over here. I don't think it's a donation, but it does put you behind the 8 ball a little bit. I mean, could be the nuts, right? Like nothing saying that McBride and Kittle couldn't both average like 30 points 6 weeks running to open the season. Could just be like this guy like walks to the finish line. Certainly not here. ASMR best ball, we'll probably get that. You wait 5 to 10 years, we'll have some people on Twitch or whatnot doing that. Hot tub best ball streams. I think here we're just going to go Jaden and Cook. I mean, elite quarterback feels good in this. I get a running back I like. Again, these lobbies are very running back heavy typically. And I just know I'm going to get wide receivers later, so I like the team. None of my players have overlapping buys, which, if you can manage it, that's ideal, right? The later the buy it is, the better. Less overlap buys is also better. I mean, a general rule of thumb, Rob, is probably somewhere like, 3 to 5. But are there times where I draft just like 12 rookies? Yeah, there are times, right? So, like most things in life, it varies. What's your best pitch for Gene T? Generational prospect, Chip Kelly, super high play volume guy, run heavy guy. I mean, just simply look where he went in the real NFL draft. I believe it was 5th overall. Super safe. We don't really, no age concerns. We know running backs like best years in their career are typically earlier. Yeah, that's it. And you can be a good running back and you don't need to be on like a top 5 team in the NFL. Yeah, were you foolish enough to draft players who you thought were starters? Idiots. You should draft all backups. Dawson Knox, Luke Musgrave, Jameis Winston. This should be the core tenets of your philosophy. Those guys don't play, so they don't get hurt, Some people are saying simply go watch, pull up a Go Ball highlight or whatever it's called, Just Ball. Is Kraft hurt like bad? All I saw was groin. You know what, Chris? Really, me, you, Twitter doctors, none of us really know. But my guess is that they were just holding him out to be, to have some caution. Just bombs. Will I do a beat best ball sub league? Like, what do you mean? Like a home league? Maybe I will one day. Kind of chill in the 12 hole too. Like you don't even really have to pay attention in the draft. Going Joe Burrow is somewhat tempting to me. But I think now's a good time to just get some wideouts. We're going to go Waddle, late buy, feels good. And we're going to go Hunter. Updating rankings tomorrow. So the mix in ADP, obviously, I updated before the injury. So teams coming into form here. We got Daniels at QB. We got GT and Cook holding down the 2 running back spots for us. And we got Nico, Waddle, and Hunter going off. Wide out. Yeah, I mean, what's more likely, folks? Who do you think we're going to more likely? You know what? I'm going to put this in the YouTube description. Who do you think will be drafting higher in fantasy drafts next year? Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill? I think I might put an article on stuff like this, a.k.a. the guys who I think will be higher draft picks next year. I think that answer is pretty clear to me. Like, we're almost certainly going to be drafting Waddle higher. Don't want to cook the poll. Let's get this. Who will be drafted higher in fantasy drafts next year? Question mark. We'll put Tyreek Hill first and Jalen Waddle. Let your voice be heard. Start poll. Let your voice be heard, folks. The poll is live. And you may be asking, like, oh, why does that matter? Well, typically, if a guy is being drafted higher than another guy, it means that they had a better year and or ended the year better. What do you win when you win for KLS, 3rd or 4th target on a run-heavy team that may sign Keenan? I mean, first off, don't think run-heavy is, like, confirmed. Herbert, again, one of the best passers in the league. He had a hurt foot last year. Second off, at worst, you can have deep threat for Justin Herbert, right? Which, yeah, that can just win you weeks. So, like, you could be drafting, like, you know, Shaheed. God, man, what's going wrong with my brain right now? Rashid Shaheed at the end of drafts, or you might be drafting next Puka, right? Like, that's really what you're hoping is the case. And you're also hoping that he is simply better than Trey Harris. Not sure if you remember me, but I head back overseas to teach in 2 days to Qatar. Good luck, sir, in BBM. What do you teach? I do remember something about Qatar. Jalen Waddle is currently leading the poll. Oh, Matthew Golden goes. That's a bummer. We're going to take Shakir here. And why not? What if Chris Godwin is ready week 1, you know? Godwin could be one of the worst picks on the board. Like, his ankle could be cooked, but you would think they wouldn't pay him that much money if that's the truth. And you hope that Nico, Waddle, Hunter, Shakir is fine enough. Tracy is honestly who I was going to take if I didn't take Godwin. Yes. Shakir did hurt his ankle, but, you know, he has a month to heal up. High school English at an American school. That probably pays well. I've heard that you can get paid a lot of money teaching in the Middle East. If you're comfortable, give us a salary range. I've heard like upwards of like, I don't know, 100 to 150 or something like that. I don't know if it's been confirmed high ankle sprain. I just know he hurt his ankle and he hobbled off. Let's see if this says anything. A right foot / ankle. So, I mean, it could be worse, folks. He could have broken his ankle for all I know. We got 54 votes, 55 votes, but only 71 likes, folks. So I know you guys are interacting out there. Okay, no. Joe Buscaglia just tweeted it out. This is the Bills beat reporter for The Athletic. Khalil Shakir is week to week with the high ankle sprain. It's not good, but yeah, I'll be buying the dip. I think that's like similar to what happened to Josh Downs last year. And I mean, we know what the market's going to do. The market's going to drop Shakir probably to like this range just because like, especially on DK with the O tag, but I'll be scooping the Shakir dip. Thank you, sir. I mix it. I want a lot of both, Travis, of Reed and Golden. I'm very confident one will be a smash. Last night in the scrimmage, Reed played only slot and Golden and Dobbs played outside. If you care about that. I don't really, because you can play, 25 slot snaps a game and have 3. Like when we're drafting Reed, we're drafting him to go have 70-yard touchdowns. They've been having some like random 28-year-old make some noise in camp, the Bills, that is. Because last I read, Josh Palmer is hurt. Curtis Samuel is hurt. Elijah Moore is hurt. Now Khalil Shakir is hurt. So that leaves Keon. And yeah, there are like 6-string guys hurt too. Well, with Shakir and Godwin, I think we need to jam some wideouts here. Let's go Higgins and Keon. It is a rookie, so that's why he's cheaper in this. And then Keon gives us coverage for Shakir. Keon also balled out at the scrimmage. Like he could break out. Again, Palmer got hurt, but he definitely could have a good year. Seems unlikely, but he could score like 6 touchdowns, whatever. I'll be right back, folks. I mean, I would be buying the dip. Keenan. I mean, honestly, if the Shakir injury is serious, yeah. Yeah, not quite. I mean, he's probably going to be a Charger, right? Tyreek Hill has now flipped Waddle in the votes. And my poll officially has more votes than I have likes on the stream. Tough. Actually, let me refresh. Nope, never mind. We got 96 likes and 74 votes. You could be like number 100. I think this is very unlikely. The Bills, the reason why they haven't paid James Cook is because they have guys like Osiris Torrance, a guard who could looking like he might become one of the best guards in the league. Like they want to pay things like that over, and think about what they just traded a 3rd-round pick for Amari Cooper and it didn't work out. They are not going to trade and pay for Terry McLaurin, almost certainly. Nor should the Commanders trade Terry, Curtis Samuel's had some big years. Curtis Samuel was Deebo Samuel before Deebo Samuel, Bryson. He had some good years with the Commanders too, but this year with the Panthers, where he had 851 receiving yards, he also had 200 rushing yards on the ground. That's Deebo before Deebo. He was a smash in 2020. And then he had some good years with the Commanders. Last year with the Bills, he got turf toe. He has like a hamstring or something right now, but yeah, he could have a good year this year. He or Elijah Moore will probably be getting the most opportunity right now with Shakir banged up. All right, I don't know if we could take Kincaid too. We could, of course, but whatever. We gotta like gamble at this point on running back. Judkins seems like a good gamble. Tutin's a rookie, but like he's kind of a good gamble. Yeah, he's a good gamble. Tua has the same bye as Jaden, so I don't want to draft him. So the team is Jaden, Jeanty, Cook, Judkins, Tutin, Nico, Waddle, Hunter, Shakir, Godwin, Jaden, Keon. We got some risk on the squad, but, that's fine. Tank Bigsby, one pick, 125. Yeah, I don't know. This was some random 4-follower Twitter account tweeted out an NFL Live interview, and it was Deebo Samuel interviewing with Mike Garafolo. And Deebo Samuel hurt his hand and had told Mike before the interview, I won't be shaking your hand because I hurt my hand. And then Mike made a joke being like, oh, I'd shake your hand, but your hand is hurt. And then the other co-host in between them is like, no. And then Mike Garafolo was like, oh, we'll edit that out. But it was live TV. So. Yeah, Curtis Samuel would have had a fine year last year if he didn't get hurt. I think that's just if he didn't have turf toe, he would have been fine. I tweeted out the video. Oh, he jammed his finger. I don't want to play it for you. I might get demonetized or something. Who knows? Okay, so we need some tight ends eventually. We need a second quarterback eventually. We need some more running backs. We probably could use another wide receiver as well. But I don't know. I like the concept of the team. Shakir could be fine for week 1 too. They might be cautious, but you never know. Nearly 300 of you lovely people tuning in on this Sunday morning. Join the Discord, link is below. BeatBestBall.com. We'll have updated ranks tomorrow for Eliminator, Drafters, DraftKings, Underdog. Dropped a couple articles past couple weeks. One on the playoff spots, one on rarely drafted players you should mix in. He goes cheaper than this in Best Ball Mania, but with the running back fever, he goes higher here. And I don't know, maybe Sampson or Ford should just go ahead of Judkins. I don't know, folks. I'm just betting on the draft capital. Were you there, Vishace? Dobbs looked the best out of the group. I'm going to assume you're tuning in for the first time, Poker Guts, to some fantasy streams. Josh Palmer will have a better year than Shakir. Outside of injury, almost certainly not. Palmer, Dobbs, QJ, Demario Douglas, Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, like all these guys are very similar bets, you know. We're going to go Geno with Gene T and Trey Benson, who I think I'm getting like, I think I have like very little Trey Benson in Best Ball Mania, but I'm getting a lot in the Eliminator because for whatever reason, they don't like him here. So Geno allows us to stop at quarterback, correlated with Gene T, possible stacking options later. Gene T and Cook holding down the running back spots. High upside handcuffs might get on the field. Yeah, we're overlapping a lot of week 8 buys, but is what it is. Judkins, who knows? Probably going to end this with 3 tight ends, maybe just 2, and just hope that tight end doesn't matter in a head-to-head matchup, which it certainly could not. Because, I don't know, kind of feels like I need a running back and feels like I need a wideout. Okay, so to start the year, I have Nico, Waddle, and Hunter healthy. I have Higgins and Keon healthy. And then I maybe have Shakir, I maybe have Godwin. So I guess maybe I just gamble at wide receiver and I add on a running back. Or maybe I take a running back and a wide receiver and just 2 tight ends. That's probably what I'll do. Almost certainly not, but he did look good. In general, Tyler, I think we should be doing some builds on occasion that the field is not. So I've not done many, but yeah, not many other people are either. What will decide the answer to this question, Goose, will be whether you needed to have late J.K. Dobbins, late Tank Bigsby, late Demario Douglas, late Tyreek Hill, late Xavier Worthy, late Ricky Pearsall, late Jordan Mason, late, etc. Or whether you need to have Keandre Lambert-Smith, Deontay Thornton, Brashard Smith, Taj Brooks, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, these types of things. You know what I mean? And I think both are reasonable. There is no really bad bye week with your wide receivers. That is true. Yeah. I don't know. Team might come down to Godwin. What does no more Mixon mean? Is this news that just dropped? The aliens abducted Joe Mixon? Am I submitting a lineup for fantasy best ball? Yeah, I'll probably do that late in the year. I loved him. I mean, certainly you're mixing me up with someone else. I have never loved Joe Mixon in my life. Literally ever. Let's get Kate Otten. And sure, Will Shipley. I mean, you're just wrong, Panty. I never loved Joe Mixon in the 5th. I have started to draft Joe Mixon in the 80s and 100s, particularly because I was never drafting Joe Mixon really at all before. In fact, I've been quite anti-Mixon because he's a bad person. Maybe. Have y'all seen Fantastic Four? I'm thinking about going later today. No spoilers, please. Well, I guess the difference there is Mixon it's confirmed bad and Judkins it's alleged, right? But yeah, newsflash, there's a lot of bad people in the NFL. Yeah, I can't help myself. I still watch the Marvel stuff. Not all of it still, but don't know what this means. Shakir's not dead, man. Nice. For BBM, I don't care about buys really at all. The reason being is I'm trying to win week 17, not have like, and the truth is for like BBM, think about last year. If you drafted Jamar Chase, Saquon Barkley, you'd be hard pressed not to advance. And so, yes, does it sometimes come down to 5 points, whether you get third or second? Yes, it does. Does it often also come down to you get first place by like over 100, and so you could have eaten a 0 for a buy? Yes, often. I don't know. You just simply don't watch my content if you think I draft Mixon a lot. Have I drafted Mixon occasionally in the 5th or 6th when his ADP was there? Certainly. I mean, again, it's hard not to, right? Alexander Madison. All right, what are we doing here? We need a tight end for sure. Let's just gamble that Tyler Higbee is a good pick this year. And Theo as well. So I don't know. Team ends Jaden and Gino. Quarterback's obviously fine. Gene T. Cook, Judkins, Tootin, Benson, Shipley. We'll see at running back. Needs Judkins, just needs 2 of these guys to be good picks, really. And these 2 to be good picks. Weird buy overlaps. Nico, Waddle, Hunter, Shakir, Godwin, Higgins, Keon. Shakir and Godwin going to do a lot for this team. Otten, Higbee, Theo. Important as well. It would, it was just a USB-C, so almost certainly. Almost certainly. And if not, some people can't think probabilistically, They think like, oh, you draft a player, you draft Neighbors over Nico. Why do you hate Nico? You know what I mean? I don't think Likely's. I mean, in this, Likely's. Anyone who's going to miss time is not a good pick in as good a pick in the Eliminator. But I think Likely's still a decent season-long bet. So we will see on this team. What's this team really need? It needs guys like Nico to just score 30 points in a week. It needs Waddle to just have like a 30-point week. It needs Hunter to just have a 30-point week. Cook, Gene Like those are the things that ultimately will decide head-to-head matchups. Jaden Daniels to score 30 points. I've named almost none of my eliminators. It would be nice if Underdog just numbered them for us, but I do want to try to name the ones I stream. I mean, what's funny is this was probably like a big board beef when I was saying that Najee was a bad pick. Who knows, man? Who knows? People are writing their own stories, and we love them for it. 8-3 streamed. Let's see. That was number 74 for me. 70. Right. Let's 74, 73, 72, 71, 70. I try to do this just to know every 10. Any chess tourneys on the docket? I played yesterday. Went 3 out of 4. Really should have gone 4 out of 4. So got my rating back to like 1996 USCF. We could show you the chess ratings. Then we'll jump in another draft. We're wide ranging here, folks. I'm a chess teacher. In fact, I start at my school again tomorrow. The USCF has like changed their site, so this is the best way to find myself now. Thoughts on Taj Brooks? High upside, possibly a 0. And that would be my answer for most of the rookie running backs. I'm not a guy who is going to tell you things like, of course, the comma breaks the site. Who's going to tell you things like, well, he had a 35% dominator rating and 8% missed tackles forced per touch in college, blah, 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 against SEC, blah, blah, blah. So we gained some points back to 1996. Let's see. We were rated 1981 going into it. We beat 1600. We lost to a master. I was winning this game, so just played bad at the end. Beat a 1600 and beat a 2100-ish. This is my student, by the way. And he, I'm a better teacher than I'm a player, but look at him. He's rated 1291. He lost to an 1800, but then he beat an 1800. He drew to a 1700, and he drew an 1800, which if your rating is accurate, every 200 points is supposed to be like 95% statistically significant. So crazy performance by my student there. All right. Let's do a drafters. If you want to draft with me, promo code Cheslium. Link is below. This code will get you a $100 deposit match. We'll jump in a draft and then we'll give away a ticket. Would prefer he didn't, but if it's only 4 to 5 weeks, not going to really impact much. I think he'll go lower in the market, though. DK doesn't count, but also awesome, man. That's awesome. Need 5 more. Then we'll give away a free tick. Let's see. This is it's only number 39 for me. So we got drafters feeling extremely slow this year. That's one of the huge benefits of drafting on drafters is, I mean, they're only at 40. They're only at 47,000. Call it 750. They're going to overlay, which means that the prize money is guaranteed, and they're only at 34% filled, and they have a month. So it's going to overlay, meaning that we compete with less people. You know, like if you have to only compete with 100,000 people instead of 140, well, the prize pool is guaranteed. So I think this will overlay. The DK Millie will also probably overlay. Best Ball Mania will certainly not overlay. Let's look. Best Ball Mania is, I mean, I don't know, 54%. I guess there's a very small chance Best Ball Mania overlays, but unlikely. The marathon is only at 27% filled. The sprint is only at 26% filled. I don't know if these overlay. Like, I'm not going to chase the overlay in them, but they're also not that big. So it's like these, you know, people could be jamming entries into these late. We need 2 more for this drafters. Drafters is total points, meaning the winner of the contest will be whoever scores the most points weeks 1 through 17. There's no pods. If you want to get up and running, click this link, $100 deposit match. This guy's doing a daily fill rate. I want it on the record that I first did that. I'll probably tweet out some fill rate stuff too. I just have a bigger platform, you know? Yeah, this is possible. Let's see what NFL news we got. Khalil Shakir expected to miss the next 4 to 5 weeks per some account I never heard of. Travis Hunter looks awesome. Yeah, James Conner says him and Trey Benson are both RB1s. We're in the 8 hole here. Jerry Jones is doing crazy stuff. Brock Bowers looks good. Dearness Johnson signs with the Ravens. I do think this is maybe a little meaningful because Dearness Johnson, let's pull up his Raz. Okay, not the most athletic guy in the world. Also, not the biggest guy. But there was rumors that they were going to cut Rasheen Ali last year, and then someone got hurt right before the deadline. And so maybe this is a sign that like he would be one of the direct backups to Derrick Henry. Who knows? I don't know who's telling you that. I personally think the Drafters app is awesome. You have a draft board on it and it functions. So that's not been my experience. I've not done as many on the phone this year though, so who knows? Does Drafters allow you to set positional parameters? Yes, it does. All right. Spam your drafters username. At the end of this 20 seconds, we're going to give away a free ticket. If you won recently, you're invalid. Just going to highlight the bottom comment. If you don't have a drafters username, you can't win the free ticket. Sam Hater. Haters gonna hate. Hope you spelled that right, sir. 1 N. Haters gonna hate. Won today's ticket. Congratulations, Sam Hater. Good username. Oh, and he's in the chat. Drafters will deposit that sometime. If you sign up to beatbestball.com, you will get a free ticket. I'm sending over the batch of usernames this week, probably tomorrow. So if you signed up last year, you don't get another free ticket. But if you're a new sign up to beatbestball.com, anywhere between the dates of September till now, you'll get a free ticket. For those who sign up to the year membership, if just the monthly membership, you do not get the ticket. And no one should be, I don't know why people buy the monthly membership for my site. I priced the monthly at $40 a month. The year membership's priced at $100. The year membership will get you playoff best ball rankings as well, and playoff best ball content. And I think this year I'll probably do battle royale rankings. So yeah, would not recommend the $40 a month option when the year option is $100. I do not know, but probably. There are some states where you can be 18, but look up your state's laws. We'll be taking Mr. Nico at 8. CMC's obviously a fine bet too. But just kind of feels like Nico could have like a smash year. Yeah, drafter software is actually really good. Have drafted on Underdog and DK. Using drafters this year as well. Works well. I mean, Rich, they've paid out every single year. If they didn't pay out, they wouldn't be in business. I've never done Battle Royale in the past, and I don't know, like, not 100% I'm doing it, but I think I'm most likely going to do Battle Royale. I didn't do it last year, but why not, right? And I might have to change the pricing on my site eventually, but we'll see. If you sign up for my site and you've signed up for drafters with the same email, you don't need to email me anything. If you sign up for my site with a different email than your draft, you do need to communicate with me. Let's go. I mean, I'm an AJ Brown guy at heart, but it's such a tough choice between these two guys. Let's take Lad this time. Week 17 correlation, folks. We're trying to come back from behind and win this contest week 17. AJ Brown is just like, it's quite likely the Eagles have to pass more and that AJ Brown just has some huge games. But at the same time, there's plenty of a case to be made for, like, why is Lad not ranked amongst Brian Thomas, Amon-Ra, Neighbors, Nico? Shakir's not finished. He has a high ankle sprain. He'll be out 4 to 5 weeks. Kincaid's looking good. Obviously, his health is most important, and Dawson Knox has not been practicing, but I mean, let's look at how Ladd ended the year last year. Just like a solid every week performer, and then 29 points, 35 points in the playoffs. You know, what's not to like? Nico, before he got hurt, was just smashing 27, 33, 20, 19. This game against Buffalo came on like one catch, and then he pulled a hamstring. So, I mean, a healthy Nico is like a borderline 2K wide receiver. Now, there's possibilities that like Jaden Higgins is really good, and Christian Kirk is good, and Jalen Noel, and etc. But yeah, Nico and Alpha. PPR also gives like a slight edge to Ladd over AJ Brown to me. Going to have redraft rankings on the site next week. And I did write up a high stakes $2,000 managed team on the site. Kind of like detailing the differences between managed and best ball. Haters' views count the same. We welcome you, Tresnor. Yeah, I mean, personally, like when a player burns us, there's one or two ways that people react. Either they're like, never again, or they, when a guy goes way down in price, you're like, well, I mean, I was drafting this guy at the 4 or 5 turn, and now he's a 13th round pick. Like, I'm drafting him now. Drafters also adds the Q and O tag. Let's go Josh Allen this time. Don't go elite quarterback a ton on drafters, but want to be mixing that in. Thank you, sir. From a hater to a lover. You win more battles with sugar, folks, than vinegar, or whatever that saying is. We got 300 people watching right now. I wonder if I'll ever have 1,000 people watching on a solo stream. Probably will take a couple of years to get there. I think we're just going to take a running back now. Walker, Chuba. I like both of them. Walker's hurt right now, by the way. We're going to take Chuba a round above. I was going to do Walker, Because I mean, he's a home run hitter, right? Which like you like that in best ball, especially this contest. But he did hurt his foot. Let's pull that up. This just came out like this morning. Who am I trying to look up? Kenneth Walker dealing with foot soreness. He's missed practice time with a foot injury. No concern. Apparently suffered it in the spring, so do think that will eventually hit him with a Q or O tag, and he's going to drop back to the 4-5 turn where he was going most of the cycle of the drafts. Yeah, if I like had a team in the finals, I don't know. I would just I like to watch football. I don't want to do that. Yeah, fix these sidewalks. All my players are getting hurt. Did I have any notable finishes in Best Ball Mania or DraftKings last season? Yes, Cody, I did. I put 2 teams in the Best Ball Mania finals, and I would have gotten second if Chase Brown didn't slide down at the 1-yard line. Instead, I got 33rd and 361st, which I wrote up those teams here and their journey to making the finals. Which it's very hard to get a team in the finals, folks, right? On average, if you max the contest, once every 10 years will you have one team, at least one team, reach the finals. My first intuition, Michael, was that he just wants to get paid regarding Juwan Jennings' injury, but I don't know. Now it sounds like he actually might be hurt, so I'm going to lower him in my rankings. It's a weird situation, you know? Once every 10 years if you're just mathematically average, assuming no skill or lack of skill. I mean, newsflash, it is hard to win large field contests with like 670,000 entrants, you know? Both were drafted in May, Cody, but you can read the. We're going to take James Conner here. Seems good. We got 2 alpha wideouts, Nico Ladd. We got an elite quarterback, and we got 2 running backs we feel good about their volume in Chuba and Connor. Chuba obviously has more. Chuba and Connor, they both have different types of risk, right? Chuba's risk is that like Rico plays a lot, and I guess Trevor Etienne gets in there. But he's pretty good last year. Right? And in just games they won, look at how he scored in games they won. 32, 25, 21, 28. Literally not below 20 points in a game they did not win, or in a game they won. So like you got to assume they win more games this year. And then Connor's risk is just obviously that he's an older running back. I like Mike Evans quite a bit. Devontae Adams is also old. Could he fall off? Sure, but doesn't seem likely. In BBM2, it was 106. Let's pull up Ricky Pearsall. Not a player I have a ton of, and I want to get more. I mean, he's a weird one because, like, yes, he got shot. Yes, he suffered injuries. But, like, if he didn't have this 29-point game against a decimated Detroit secondary last year, he would also be going, like, 5 rounds cheaper. He'd be going after Keon Coleman. At the same time, he's making buzz in training camp. He's having good days. He kind of seems like he might be in, like, a Debo-ish role. Jennings is hurt. Ayuk is hurt. So it's like he has to get targeted, you know? Cody, might want to just rewind the stream. We just did an Eliminator draft. Weekly winners? No. Peter's invested and haters going to hate. How much the max BBM? 25 times 150 teams, so 3750. So, logical roster here. Elite quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wideouts. It's just like, personally, I have a lot of drafts I still need to do. I got to do the DK, I got to do drafters. And you can't win that much money. And you have to, what's also unappealing about weekly winners to me is you have to finish absolutely first out of everyone to win. Like, that's hard to do. That's a harder task to me than it is to go 2 out of 12, 1 out of 12, 1 out of 16, 1 out of 500, you know? But a lot of people seem to like weekly winners. So do what you like, you know? I'm sure it's a good way to have a sweat for if you like watch football, you know? Well, you know, you're live each week. Personally, for like a weekly sweat though, I'll be doing stuff like the daily drafts on Underdog. Yes, Cody, I do. That article I wrote up was a high stakes FFPC draft, and should have some high stakes FFPC drafts later in the year. People always like the stream I do with Ron and Jacob. Might have one with Tolan. Let's see. Weekly winners is 84% filled. If you finish first out of 187,000 people in a week, you will win 20 grand. If you finish fifth, you win 3,500. Now, I think people also like it because a lot of people wrongly view best ball like it's not a tournament, which obviously it is. And what they like about it is like, oh, like they kind of view it more like a cash game. Like, oh, if I just have one good week, I get my money back. Right? Which I understand, right? We want to get money back. But yeah, I mean, we're playing risky tournaments, folks. That's what we're Jaden Reed, love him. I like Jonnu Smith. Feel like he's underpriced. Say that on a lot of streams. Yeah, I think this is a reasonable way to do it, Daniel. Just do like 10 teams or so. So, Khalil Shakir, no drop in price in this draft. Assuming this guy is going Kelsey Mahomes. Nope. Christian Kirk. All right, Terrence. Interesting. I always say total points is more skillful than playoff pods. Yeah, I just kind of disagree. I understand how you view it that way, but it's like, is it, let's say that I draft Nico and you draft Malik Neighbors, and both are having awesome years tied in points, but then um hmm, Brian Robinson's risky, but he also could score 13 touchdowns. So welcome to the team. Let's say they're both averaging 23 points per game, but then week 5, Nico Collins breaks his leg. Was it skillful that my player broke his leg and yours did not? Obviously not, right? You got lucky there. So, like it or not, there's a lot of luck in total points as well. I mean, you got to be spelling a man's name right if you think it's going to explode. Chase Brown, I tend to agree. Juwan Jennings, we'll see. He's hurt right now. Thoughts on Kyron Williams? Risky, but I mix him in. And what's like the medium outcome is that, yeah, he just gets the workload. The market is not sharp, Michael. Yeah, I think it's insane. Jonnu could just be the second highest pass volume guy on the Steelers. Like, that's in the range of outcomes. He could get 5 goal line tush push touchdowns. That's in the range. Oh my God. Left wing Slappy is a name that's been made. What an inside best ball account. Could be. That's fair, Peter. I do have to look up some guys' names before I tweet them out. Yeah, I mean, the best ball market's gotten sharper in some ways, but also market's going to market, you know? Like something I said and tweeted out is like, look, folks, I don't need to know much to know that J.K. Dobbins should not be going amongst names like Jarquez Hunter. Like Jarquez Hunter could be a league winner. I don't know. But I know for a fact when J.K. Dobbins signs to a team, he's going to go up to like round 10 plus, and all these other guys are not. I tend to think Travis Hunter, I mean, obviously Travis Hunter has downside, but I tend to think the risk is worth it. Yeah, this is the way people are thinking, except they're thinking about this like they're thinking like this and they're multiplying it by 2,000. He visited the Chargers, so if you want your Keenan, now's probably the time to do it. I've not been getting him because, people are taking him, but yeah, I have some Keenan. Yes, that's the game we're playing, Salted Cod. That's why I put an article on beatbestball.com about the playoffs. Literally last year, I wrote, you need to be drafting some Jonathan Taylor because he plays the Giants week 17 and could be the guy you need. Right? Like, that's an edge that you should be trying to attack. And a lot of people want to do this. La, 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 la. I don't want to think about that. I want who scores the most points. That's what I want to do. Oh, you're so lucky. You only advanced these teams. You built teams that could win the contest. Lucky idiot, You got to adapt to the game you're playing, folks. Pacheco is like B-Rob. Could be a league winner. Could be a terrible pick. Newsflash, there is luck in a lot of things in life. Like, for example, people don't think there's luck in chess. Those people are wrong. I think I like both these picks. Both of them are at a pretty heavy discount. Do think wide receiver gets thinner fast and like Joe Mixon might be here at 113, and Joe Mixon has more chance of being an utter zero than Darnell Mooney. So we're taking Mooney. Like, there is luck in chess, right? Like, your opponent didn't get enough sleep the night before. Your opponent prepped for a line, and you played a different line. Your opponent calculated 2 lines. 1 line wins, 1 line loses. They chose the wrong one. Like, there's luck, you know? It's not as evident as luck as there is in something like this or poker, but luck plays a role in a lot of our lives. No, it is. It is luck. You could think of luck as the same thing as the word variance. Let's make our picks here. Why not? Josh Allen, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, Brian Robinson, Nico Ladd, Pearsall, Reed, Mooney, Trey Harris. Variance. I am lower on CMC just because I think his peers have a lot less risk and similar upside. I draft CMC more on contests like this because you don't need him to be healthy the whole season. But yeah, like, I think simply when you take CMC over an elite wide receiver, like, that's risky, you know? CMC obviously has upside to be the number 1 player in fantasy. But, I play risky in best ball, folks, right? I allow certain players the possibility to beat me. There are players that could, if they are the guys you need to have, I will lose, right? We're going to lose some years. You cannot cover for every angle. The way I play best ball is not to be like, let me have 8% of everyone and just hope I build the best constructions. Like, I take stance. I put a video out on the riskiest players, and CMC was the first round pick I mentioned there. Does it mean I never draft CMC? Of course not. I'm just not going to have as much of him as other people. And, like the mouth breathers, if like CMC's a 40% advance rate guy, and I'm not advancing a lot of teams, they're going to be like, this guy doesn't know how to play best ball. He didn't draft CMC, right? That's not the game we're playing, though. Your thoughts on Woody Marks? I mean, possibly the Texans RB1. Worth mixing in, Charlene. Is a rookie. I do think the Texans are quite likely to add a trade partner or a training camp cut. Seems unlikely they're going to go into the season with Mixon unable to play and just Chubb and Woody Marks and Dameon Pierce and etc. I've not read that book, but yeah, people are really bad at randomness. One example is that Spotify used to have random shuffle, and then a lot of people complained because they would get like the same song back to back, or they would get like 2 songs from the same album because people just have a bad understanding of what randomness is. An example for us is like pods for fantasy football. And so Spotify had to actually alter their algorithm to make it less random so that it fit how people felt better, you know? Drafted a lot of Ayuk, expensive in this contest. Doesn't feel good. I do not think Ayuk should be falling wildly, but he is. So, and I haven't been getting as much recently just because other wide receivers are falling too. We're going to take Herbert here. with us having the double Charger stack. And we're going to be done at quarterback, which Josh Allen and Herbert, that feels like a good pair to me. I want to get drafters to send me the data for last year and update it. But I would assume last year really changed things, Deshaun, because last year, it was just kind of like, it was a weird year in fantasy where it was like these older, expensive running backs were like, a lot of wide receivers got hurt and running backs different. And it was also like, if you didn't draft Jamar Chase, you were not winning last year. If you didn't draft Saquon, you were not winning. If you didn't draft Henry, you also probably were not winning. Not every year is like that, where you have to, like, where there's a very narrow path to victory. There are plenty of years where it's like you could win with either Lamb, Amon-Ra, or Saquon. But last year was like pretty narrow, There's another question I want to touch on, but I can't find it now. And we're drafting. Yeah, I mean, we got to get a stack partner for the Bills here, and we don't have a tight end. So Kincaid with Allen feels good. It's tough for me to pass on guys like Ayuk, but I like them both, So the team, Allen and Herbert, Chuba, Connor, Brian Robinson, Nico, Ladd, Pearsall, Reed, Mooney, Harris, Kincaid. Feel good at wideout. Obviously, we need Chuba, Connor, and Robinson to be like all three good picks this year at running back. And we're going to need to hit some later round running backs if we're going to win this. Certainly possible. I tend to lean with Kyle Williams is too expensive, but at this price, he's a lot better, right? Like on Underdog at times, Kyle Williams was going like in the Keon Coleman Shaheed range. That's when I was like, this is insane by people. Here, it's like, okay, what's the big deal, Very, very uncommon and not something to worry about at all. I could literally tell you who scores the most points week 17. And you would probably not win. I could let you have all first round picks on your team, and you're also probably not going to win. Best ball is very protected from cheating and collusion because you would have to be an idiot to invest the amount of time it would take to even do it. And then if you're caught, which it's easy to catch like multiple accounts drafting together, they would just shut down your account, void your entries, and confiscate your money. But the tinfoil hat crowd thinks it's very common. So ask yourself who to trust. I think like near top 100. Yes, it was the question. Thank you, sir. Jason and Odunze. I haven't drafted as much of them as other guys. Odunze, there's positive buzz out that like he might be the Bears' #1 wide receiver. Again, I tend to draft the cheaper Bears. JSN, like he's just a bad fit for half-point PPR in my mind. There is risk there, but I drafted him in my best ball mania this morning, so I want to mix these guys in because there's obviously paths. Rome, I want to try to get some more of. Yeah, it seems like a more of a concern in these daily games. I mean, last year contract players should be motivated, right? Seems like a good time to take Rashad White. We need running back. He averaged, 12 and a half points per game last year. He's probably a Bucky Irving injury away from being a great pick. High-powered team. Godwin not starting the year potentially could have White with more passing volume. Don't have as much of him this year, so definitely happy to take him here. Yeah, again, I'm not concerned about stuff like this. Number one, if Reed was going to play on the outside, unlikely they were going to show that at a scrimmage. Number two, for best ball, I literally don't care because Reed can pay off on 30 routes. Seems like a responsible time to take Najee Harris. Possibly a 0. I don't know. Plays for the Chargers. We get the correlation. We need running back more. And I drafted absolutely 0 of him before he was in the hundreds and such. So I want to mix him in at pick 160. Again, we hate the price, not the player, Hated Najee's price. Like the price now. He is walking at practice, so that's a good sign. He has a weighted vest on and he's walking. That's some progress made. Man, people ask about weekly winners a lot. It's not my favorite contest because you have to finish first overall to win. I think a lot of people like it because they can get some money back throughout the season. And it gives them a sweat for 17 weeks. It's not my favorite because you have to finish first out of 187,000 people to win 20 grand, which is like a nice amount of money, but not life-changing. And if you get 10th in a week, you only get $1,000, Yeah, Josh Palmer is the guy I would have taken if I didn't go Najee, but just felt that the running back pick was more important. Palmer can certainly be a league winner at wideout, so you hope stuff like that, where that's an example of luck in this contest. Najee or Palmer, those are the picks for me. You hope that it doesn't come down to if you had drafted Palmer, you actually would have won, and you drafted Najee and a player who you don't even like, and he's a 0. I would say prevailing logic would say that, Deshaun, but I've been in some crazy soft lobbies in the morning, during lunch. So draft one's convenient for you. Possible, but unlikely. Yeah, we have seen high ankle sprains linger, but he will not be putting any pressure on that until the start of the year, probably. Jonnu, a player I like, feels good. I personally view it as a high upside bet and feels quite nice to get as my tight end too. Peter, man, you're tinfoil hatting, sir. This, what you're saying is just not realistic or a concern. Thank you, sir. Sometimes you also might get in a lobby where everyone thinks that all the drunkies are going to get in there and it's actually all grinders, like you never know. Incorrect. Of course, with everything with fantasy football, nothing is guaranteed. Play at your own risk. Don't say stupid things. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This guy went in the second round. He plays in the same division as Justin Herbert. How bad can it be? I think DraftKings tends to do this on purpose to try to get people to play more. Again, Peter, you're just like, I don't think you're really thinking about the big picture. Like, if you wanted to cheat to win money, there's much easier ways to do it. There are people in online poker, like on the same call together. That's a much easier way to cheat and win money. One of many examples. I don't know if the injuries are even like, I think it's just a very hot year. Newsflash, climate change is real. And so players are pulling hamstrings and stuff. I don't think it really favors a particular build. It simply favors having healthy players. And again, people being hurt does not on August 3rd doesn't really mean anything for September 1st, or more importantly, January 1st. Sometimes actually you can be hurt to start the year and then you return 3 weeks later or 5 weeks later or 7 weeks later and you smash. I'm mixing Judkins in. But yeah, I mean, kind of an unprecedented situation. Definitely a viable way to build poker guts. Thank you, C Money. C Money. One in Rome, folks. I'm just taking this guy 20 picks ahead of ADP. We got the Chargers, 3 main wide receivers: Ladd, Harris, Lambert Smith. QJ erasure. Confirm it. Could I have gotten Lambert Smith at another pick? Probably, but just in case. I would say Rome is one. Ricky Pearsall is another. It's hard to say, right? Because I draft different formats, and Trey Benson, I don't have a lot in Best Ball Mania, but then I have a lot of him in the Eliminator. So it's things come and go. I would say, yeah, it's a favorite that he signs with the Chargers. And also, how good is Deebo Samuel running that Fat Keenan got stuck with the Fat Keenan label? Yeah, I kind of I've not drafted as much on DK, and I kind of regret not getting these Q tag, O tag buys. I'm probably going to enter a bunch of slows soon on DraftKings just to help with pacing. Nice. K. Dotton is who I would have taken anyways if I didn't take Keandre Lambert-Smith. So we get him. I mean, I just think people don't remember K. Dotton last year. Like, there was a stretch where he went 18, 30, 22. You got to be pretty good to do that. You play for a high-powered offense. Does he need an injury for this to happen? Probably. But just like, there's not many tight ends that can even do this. So I don't understand why people hate him. Allen and Herbert, Chuba, Connor, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Najee Harris, Nico, Ladd, Pearsall, Reed, Mooney, Trey Harris, Jack Beck, Keandre Lambert-Smith, Kincaid, Jonnu, Otten. I think these last two picks, I might put them both in running back. A 2-7-8-3. Could be argued it's a little thin at wide receiver, but like we started with Nico and Ladd, you know? So if like Pearsall, Reed, Mooney, Trey, Beck, and Lambert-Smith ain't enough, who cares? Overstacking like I did with Herbert, perfectly viable when the guys are cheap. You know, like if Herbert this year he throws for 4,500 yards, you know, like I really set myself up for success, assuming it's not like QJ and like Tyler Conklin and stuff. No, there's nothing that the Chargers could do to make me move Ladd down. Definitely think OC is important, but it's also probably like overblown, you know? On the flip side, do we not remember Dalton Schultz, folks? Dalton Schultz had everyone get hurt. Did he have a good stretch? No, never. Dalton Schultz. No. 117-point game, 115-point game. No. The Texans lost Stephon Diggs. The Texans lost Tank Dell. They were throwing out scrubs out there, and Dalton Schultz couldn't get it done. So it's like maybe K. Dotton just has some skill. Well, and also maybe Tampa is just simply good at identifying OCs. Let's do Sean Tucker. We're taking White and Tucker. What's the story we're telling? Bucky gets hurt, and or either of these guys are good picks. Tucker had a 30-point game last year, so like exhibited high ceiling. If all he does is have like 2 30-point games, that's an awesome pick for this format. But yeah, Tampa, they had Dave Canales. They had Liam Cohen. Maybe Tampa's just simply good at, you know, identifying good OCs. It is, you know, we do need to add Cohen now because Liam is not too, it's a common baby name, but it's not a common name for like people my age and older. But yeah, now that there's an actual NFL coach named Liam, I'm always like, are people talking about me? No, they're not. I mean, Auden also has outs to like Godwin simply not returning healthy, Mike Evans slowing down, Emeka Ibuka not being as good as we think. Whatever. I just think he's a great bet. Fourth tight end's not crazy on this team either, particularly like Tyler Conklin. Curtis Samuel makes sense too, I would say. But I think the running back is just kind of a better thing to do. It is a thin group though, huh? Yeah. Very thin. Let's go Elijah Mitchell. Plays for the Chiefs. Have a big game or two, man. That's what you need. Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. We get the division correlation with Herbert as well. Chuba, James Conner, Brian Robinson, Rashad White, Najee Harris, Sean Tucker, Elijah Mitchell. Particularly when I have guys like Najee, feels kind of nice to get another running back. Nico, Ladd, Pearsall, Reed, Mooney, Harris, Beck, Lambert Smith, Kincaid, Jonnu, Cade Otton. Definitely, you hope you don't need another wide receiver. You hope it's not like Josh Palmer missing from this team to make it click, but ultimately need Herbert as a passer to be good to at least 2 of Ladd, Harris, or Lambert Smith. Need, Pearsall, Reed, Mooney. Need 2 of these guys to be good. Need Nico and Ladd to be studs. And then, if we get anything from Jack Beck, that's a bonus. Team feels pretty good to me. All right, folks. That's going to do it for me today. BeatBestBall.com to get my rankings and articles. Like the stream. Subscribe, please. Join the Discord. Link is below. We'll have updated rankings tomorrow and a stream tomorrow night, probably. Peace out.